Good morning. I am Deborah McCracken and welcome to episode 5 of Debra Quilts Lots and Knits Bits. Today is Tuesday, April 29th, no, April 30th, and it is very early in the morning here, but the sun is shining in and I do have to go to work in a little while, so I thought, oh, I better do this morning. I did update my shop last night before I went to bed, and there's lots of new bags on there. I was able to go to the West Kootenay Quilt Conference on Saturday of this weekend, and saw so many people that I miss so much. And I sold a few bags. I sold some patterns for the bags. Yes, I have some of Jade Prosser's Finch Bucket patterns in the paper form, and they were very popular, and because quilters like to make their own things, so that was a good move, I thought. Anyway, I do have a couple of the bags here, and I'll show those to you. But first of all, if you are just joining us, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy my little bit of knitting and my lots of quilting. I will chit-chat a little bit about the books I've been listening to as well. And if you're coming back, returning viewer, awesome. I've had lots of people, I had lots of people on Saturday say how much that they missed sitting down and having a coffee, but this is almost as good, so yay! And yeah, you know, like and subscribe to my channel, like the video. Our giveaway from the last video ends today, and probably will be closed by the time this gets up. And I don't know, I think that this is just fun for me, really. I mean, for no other purpose than I get to chit-chat and talk and just show you what's going on around here, and it's just a fun thing to do. So I'll get started. So I have been working on a little sweater with my hemp yarn, but because I've been working at Poppin's Quilt Parlor during the day for a few months, sorry, I haven't had as much knitting time. That also means I've missed out on my naps as well. So anyone who knows me knows that that is quite a thing for me to miss my naps. However, being at Poppin's all day long, getting to see people all day long is fantastic. It's just an awesome, inspirational overload, energy, renewal. Like it's very cool to see what people are working on, help them get the fabrics that they need. Often I throw in my obscure, funny choices and they go, oh, that's all right. So it's great. I really love it. And but like I say, I'm not getting much knitting done. So I do have on my mom's sweater again, because it's a little chilly down here this morning. It was -1 overnight Celsius, and we did have frost on the grass this morning, but it's going to be a beautiful day today, and it's spring has sprung, so we're not getting the snow like Calgary had over the weekend. My daughter sent me a picture of a snowdrift on her deck that covered up the patio door where she usually lets the dog out. So he was reluctant to go out in the snow anyway, but she had to shovel just to get him out. So where are we here? Okay, so at the West Kootenay Quilt Conference, we had, I was a vendor. I went with Barb from Poppins, and we had Timmy Jean Quilting Arts from Castlegar, and she has beautiful fabrics. And we had Kathy from So Much More, SEW, Much More Yarns, in New Denver, and she had fabric and yarn. And we had Lynn from Linden Tree Yarns. So I had talked to Kathy earlier in the week, and I asked her to bring me some yarn because I saw this sweater. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. It's called the Extapa Sweater by Kirsten Singer. And I saw it on a podcast earlier a few weeks ago. I've learned now that I just can't watch any more of that podcast right at that point because I want to do all the projects that they're showing. So anyway, I emailed Kathy and I said, hey, I really want to make this sweater. Can you bring me some yarn to the West Kootenay Quilt Conference? She said, of course I can. And she brought me this. I took the price tag off. So it's Luette Euroflax Wet Spun Linen. And this is the natural colorway. And it does have a beautiful shine to it. So I'm very looking forward to having a nice sweater that I can throw on in the evenings in the summertime. That's going to be hopefully beautiful. So as you may know, Kathy and her crew host the Fiberphilia Fest. And this year it's June 22nd and 23rd in New Denver. That's on the, I always say the Slocan Lake, or I always say the Upper Arrow Lake, but it's actually the Slocan Lake. So here's the website, fiberphiliafest.ca. We do have these handy bookmarks in the store at Poppins Quilt Parlor. So I'm going to be teaching 2 quilting classes up there, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. So go to the website, check it out. I believe there's an early bird rate, so get in, make a plan. There's lots of camping around there. There's a few places to stay. I've talked to some people that are even staying in Silverton, which is about 10 minutes down the road. And the Cusp is not that far away. It's just a beautiful area of the world. If you haven't been there, it's worth a trip. So Kathy brought me my yarn. I actually delivered a quilt to her, which I put pictures up on my Facebook page, and she was happy with it, and it was a beautiful quilt. And so that's the shopping I did at her booth. The other lady was from Linden Tree Yarns, which is in Grand Forks, and she's a local yarn shop there, downtown Grand Forks, which was flooded out last year. And she's she's one of like a very small percentage of the downtown businesses that have reopened. And you know, they're all independent businesses, and they're really, it sounds like they're really still struggling, even though the flood was last July and, or last July. So, you know, take a drive, spend some time downtown in Grand Forks. It is a really pretty little city. So, anyway, here's our card from Linden Tree Yarns. And she had a little shawlette, just one skein shawl made out of this. And I love the colors. So this one is 50% wool and 50% acrylic. And so I bought 2 skeins. I think I'm going to make, the Lonely Knitter has just released a pattern called the Gayless Duncan shawl. And it's just it's a really pretty shawl with a very, like a kind of an irregular, almost like it looks like an angel wing edge. So I think that's what I'm going to do with those. And I'm really looking forward to it. And then she showed me this yarn that was really good for, really, nice to make up for sweaters for little girls. So Diamond Luxury Mirage. So I have 2 little girls that need sweaters. So I bought 4 skeins of this. And then I realized it's 60% wool and 40% silk. So I'm not sure how practical that is for little girl sweaters, because I do believe these little girls are more tomboys, superheroes than princesses. So we'll see how that works out. Mom may get a sweater out of that. Their mom. So, but it was so pretty and it feels so nice. I had to buy it. Anyway, that's my stash acquisitions for this weekend. 3 projects that I wasn't going to, the one project I did plan on, and 2 more that I didn't plan on. And so my UFO stack of quilts and is now being added to with UFO stack, or a whip, or a planned thing, and knitting too. So one other thing, well, I got a couple other things. One other thing I got at the conference from Cottage Treasures, and their website is cottagetreasures.store. Delilah goes to tons of quilt shows, and she is the lady with the Laurel Birch bags. And so if you've ever been to a quilt show across BC or Alberta, even Saskatchewan, you've seen Delilah. And she's a wonderful friend, and she has the best stories. So we sat up Friday night, Delilah and her mom Joanne, hi Joanne, and had just an awesome visit. And it was way too late by the time we did go to bed. And but that's what shows are for. We used to do that all the time. So anyway, I bought Emily Taylor's Grizzly pattern. So if you're not familiar with Emily Taylor collage patterns, they come printed on a foundation in grayscale. So there he is. So I plan to do my bear in blue and purple because that's my favorite colors, and I have lots of them. And so I'm hoping to just pick away at them over time, plunk a few pieces down, and work at them a little bit at a time. So hopefully I'll get that done in the next 10 years, and it'll be beautiful. So I should say too, the new Denver quilters all had these great little aprons that they were showing. So I went to Kathy's booth again, and I got this pattern called the crisscross apron, and I'm going to make a couple. I just think they'll be fun to wear at the shop at Poppins, and fun to wear at home, and you know, something just a little bit, I don't know. They take 2 yards of fabric, so one for the front and one for the back. They're totally reversible, and this pattern has size adjustments. So Kathy has a few in stock, so I'll put a link to her website down below, and if you don't see it on the website, always email or call, say, hey, I'm looking for this, do you have it? Because small business owners need to be supported. So, new bags in the shop. I'm just going to put my book down there. I have the Sassy Animals in a sweater size. And this one's lined with canvas. And has some sheepy pockets. Oh, I can't see. There we go. So that's fun. And I did a couple of these sunflower bags. So that's one. And I quilted them up. So there's one left in the shop. And I've actually got some orders to do some more. So again, if you want something specific, send me an email. I can do it. And then I had this piece of cowboy fabric in my stash for a long time. And there's only one piece left, and there's only enough to make one bag. So here it is. So if you need a little cowboys in your knitting, that's the one. It's kind of a sock size. It's a little bit bigger than my usual sock size, but it'll hold 2 or 3 skeins of yarn and your project. Again, lined with canvas, and then it's got some nitty sheep pockets. So there's only one. And then there was a little tiny bit left of this round cat fabric. So this is the extra small one. And I had my little hemp sweater in something like this size all weekend, and my wallet, and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's not actually that much smaller than the regular sock size, which I'll hold those up for comparison's sake. Just a little bit. So there you go. Those are some of the new bags that are in the shop. And I've got a whole bunch more quilted up and ready to be made into bags. I got some new fabric too that has polar bears with sweaters on. They're so cute. So again, if there's something specific that you're looking for, you know, Mother's Day is coming up. It's probably too late now. But, you know, if your mom is a big, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of all the fabrics that we have at Poppins that are very specific to some people. They have fabrics with records on them. The other day we got fabric with cockatoos. Who knew? Cockatoos. I got some fabric with some forest animals, and oh my gosh, there's just the variety is endless. And the Tula Pink Pinkerville fabric, there's one that has a sea monster on it, which we refer to as Ogopogo. And then you look a little further and there's a unicorn drinking from the sea monster lake. And then a little further and there's a swan. It's like, that's so cool. So actually the fabric I picked out for my one side of my apron is a beautiful turquoise with purple swans on it. Actually, it's just swan heads, but it's gorgeous. So that's going to be in the next few days, and I'm so excited about that. So what else do I want to tell you about? Okay, I put on my website today a link to, or on my Facebook page, pardon me, a link to Unique Cosmetics. My friend Kelly from elementary and junior high school, believe it or not, sells Unique Cosmetics. So I'd like to support again another small business person. And Kelly's in Calgary and does aesthetics. So if you want your nails done, give her a call. And she comes to you sometimes. That's pretty luxurious. So I put a link there, and they're coming out with a new 4D mascara. I Started out with their 3D mascara. I love it. And I've been using the Epic mascara for about a year and a half. My eyes are really sensitive to perfumes and things like that. And this mascara is wonderful. It doesn't bother me at all. So getting my makeup on for the filming this morning, I realized that everything I put on was unique makeup. So the bronzer and the eyeliner and the lipstick. And I start out with the primer. So the primer kind of just diffuses the light, I guess, or deflects something. Anyway, once I put my primer on, I can barely see any of my things that bother me on my face. And then the rest of it kind of, when I have some left on my hands, I smooth down my hair with it. Takes the flyaways away. Anyway, I'm not a makeup expert, but I do love what Kelly has. So go ahead and go on my Facebook page and click on the link and poke around in her website. I think they have perfumes, they have skincare lines, and it's kind of an interesting company, the things that they do. So, are you looking at the quilt behind me? I'm going to try to get out of the way, but it's not working. This quilt is made out of a layer cake. Years ago, Basic Grey put out a little black dress, pardon me, and I brought in the layer cake to my shop, and I did this quilt with a layer cake and a few extra bits of the black grunge, which are these pieces here. So this quilt is called the 10-minute block. I put the whole thing, it's a queen size quilt, I put it together in an afternoon, because you fold the square and sew it into the seam, and then you fold it the other way and sew it into the other seam, and I'll put a link to a YouTube video for it in my show notes in the description box below. And I had the border fabric in the shop, and one of my friends, Jean Hitchens, came in and she said, "Oh, you know, you got that border fabric, you should probably get some of that for your quilt before it all goes away." Great advice, Jean. Thank you so much. Jean used to do some piecing for me. She made some bags that we had in the shop and sold for a little while when we were at the Flamingo. She just does a beautiful job, and I've been able to quilt some of her quilts lately. Well, I've been able to quilt some of her quilts for about 15 years now, and they're always absolutely stunning. So thank you very much for all of your help and great advice, Jean. And that's probably all I have to talk about for quilting. I don't know if you can see the actual quilting on this quilt. I used Kim Stotzenberg's angel wings, kind of little things, and then big flowers in the black part and in the border. These little things here are heat set pearls. Now I'm gonna try to bring you over here. Sorry, this is wobbly. So these little pearls, I did intentionally leave a space. Sorry, thread. I did intentionally leave a space here and here because I wanted to be able to space these out so they sort of looked even, but you know, it wasn't super consistent. I did quilt little circles around these edges, so I could put the pearls in the circles. So these ones were tiny, and then there's some bigger ones, a space, some bigger ones, a space, bigger ones, and then go into the tiny ones again. So this quilt has been through the wash quite a few times. We've had it on our bed for a few seasons, and it's got bamboo batting in it, and it's got a beautiful loft, and I like the squinchy look of it. So there, you get a good look at it. There's the border. Anyway, I did have this set so you wouldn't see the rest of my messy. There you go. So it's quite a fun quilt to do. It's easy. It's very effective. Like I say, with a layer cake and some 10-inch squares of grunge, I had a quilt. And you don't have to make the center squares this big. It's kind of looks like cathedral window-ish with the edges tucked back. So I'll put a link down there and then you can take a look. And I glued, when I flipped the pieces of the black back to make the curvy part, I glued them. So I put a little bit, tiny bit of Elmer's washable school glue and some, and then I hit it with the iron and got it to stay in place. And then I sewed it down when I was quilting it. So worked like a charm. And what else have I been working on? I've just been trying to quilt in the evenings after work, and I thought I could be able to keep up, but you know what? I'm not 30 anymore. I get home and missed my nap, of course, and of course I can't nap at 4 or 5 o'clock. So, you know, I come down and I try to do a little bit of work, but I'm just not moving as fast as I usually do. So things are taking a little bit longer, but it's okay. I love it. I love it. I come home from work, I'm energized to the point of wanting to do everything. My body's just saying no. And, you know, after I walked home along the beach, I'm pretty relaxed. So the books that I've been listening to lately have been, I really enjoyed a lot of them. The So Sweetness Book Club book for, I think, February was called The Last Runaway by Tracy Chevalier. And it was pretty interesting. Young lady comes over to the New World on a boat, and I guess in the 1800s, and she's a quilter in England, and comes over to see what's going on as far, well, she comes over and she ends up giving a little bit of a commentary on how things are different in America than they are in England, and talks about the Underground Railway and that kind of stuff, and it's pretty cool. So if you are a quilter, you will enjoy this book. If you like a little bit of history, you will enjoy that one. So that's The Last Runaway by Tracy Chevalier. The Nightingale, I can't remember where this one was recommended, but I highly recommend it. There was another quilter on Facebook the other day that said, "Oh, I love this book," and it was awesome. Listen, it was long. I think it was about 16 hours of listening, which was, I got through it in 3 days because I did it on the weekend and I just kept working and working and working while I was listening to it, and that's helpful to me. It's called The Nightingale. It's by Kristen Hanna, and it's about World War II in France, and the Germans have invaded Paris and in the southern countryside in France, and the things that go on and the things that the French people experience. And it just made me grateful that me and my children, and hopefully my children's children, will never have to experience that. Oh my goodness. There's a young lady there. She did what she had to do. She put herself into danger. She made trips over the Pyrenees to I can't tell you, because you need to read the book, and it's just an amazing story. So anyway, I have another one of her books on my Audible to listen to. I can't wait. Another one I listened to off of the library's website, the BC Libraries to Go website, was called After Alice, and it was by Gregory Maguire, who wrote the Wicked series, and I've listened to 2 or 3 of those. But After Alice is kind of a add-on to the Alice in Wonderland, and it's pretty cool. This guy has a great imagination, and he's taken these stories that we grew up with and just added onto them and extended them, and that's a fun one. After Alice by Gregory Maguire. And I'm currently listening to The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton, and I'm really enjoying that. It bounces back and forth between eras, and there's a character that I think is a ghost, but I'm 95% sure. So it's got me guessing, keeping me guessing, and it sounds like a wonderful estate in England where they all these generations of the characters have had some connection with, and how they're all kind of working together. So I'm enjoying it. And I haven't been doing that much listening to my books either, because I've been working all day. So I have to wait for the weekends, and this weekend, because I went away on Friday to go to Grand Forks and spent the day Saturday, I didn't get any listening into my books, which is just fine. It'll come. I will, I think I'll leave you with that. Hey, here's an idea. If you are an independent entrepreneur, you do something that helps to supplement your income or is your income, why don't you put a link to your website or a little note about your business and maybe your email address in the comments below, and then we can help spread the word and support each other. DebraQuiltsLots.com has my blog and my shop on it. There's some quilts on there and some bags, and I'd be happy to share anybody's link that is interested in putting it on here. And yeah, let's support each other. That's what the quilting community and the knitting community is all about. So I hope you have a great day. I am going to finish getting ready to go to work at Poppins, and hopefully I will be able to download this later on today, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.